myself independently, which was scary, and it's a lot, and it's where do I start first, right? Came in for about 6 months, put some deals under my belt, then had the opportunity to work with Adam Grady as his lead buyer's agent. So was with him all up until last May. So gave it a good, 6 years. So that was, it's like dog years, like 100. So no, but it was a great opportunity. So I learned a lot and started my own team. So I love teaching. It's, it makes you learn as well as an instructor. Just kind of getting different insight and great questions from other agents such as yourselves, and it allows for me to kind of have a mastermind too. So I love to hear kind of what you guys are going through as new agents in this market, because I started, 7 years ago, so we're going to get back to that market eventually. And so I love to see kind of what your perspectives are too, to some degree, on what you're experiencing. I know what I'm experiencing. So there's that. Building your business, I know that in Ignite, that is one of the first things that they ingrain in you is get your database going fast. Your sphere, right? Some people say I don't have one. Well then, what's your next opportunity? Anybody? If you don't have a sphere, where are you going?
In your neighborhood.
Okay, what else?
Open house.
How's that doing, how's that working out for you guys? Are you doing it consistently?
Yes.
I was.
What happened?
I kind of got focused on other lead gen. Just kind of went down a rabbit hole of other options to lead gen, even though like half my deals are coming from open houses.
So you're sprinkling.
Sprinkling.
Yeah. You do always want to get back to basics, and even for anybody that's a seasoned agent, it is easy to follow that path. Really, really easy. Sometimes we're looking at it as, I don't want to give up my Sunday. Anything of that nature. And no one says you have to do an open house, but it is the fastest way for free leads. It just is what it is. The follow-up and everything that way really matters too. What are you doing with the information that you get from those open houses?
Putting them in that database.
Are you?
Yeah.
Great. And then what?
I set an appointment on Friday for a buyer that I had at open house on Sunday.
Okay, what happened?
Well, it's this Friday.
This Friday.
Yeah.
So this is happening.
This will happen
So
on
have you
Friday.
done any preliminary work before that appointment?
I got her contacted with a lender. She's pre-approved, but she's pre-approved through one of the online lenders. So I got her contacted with a local lender.
Perfect. Great. And so you guys are going to have a consult?
Yeah, Friday.
Awesome. And so that's just to go over her wants and needs and expectations of the process?
Yeah. Oh, and then also kind of going off of team meeting, she downloaded my app, set her profile, and has set her own search.
Great.
And has sent me properties that she is interested in.
Great. And what service does that provide? How does that leverage you out by doing that?
One, I don't have to be in constant contact with her. I don't have to, two, I've been giving her value the entire step of the way. Gave her my app, gave her the lender, it's been a great relationship. She has confidence in me and in Keller Williams, knowing that she's going to be taken care of.
Okay, so what did your conversation sound like at the open?
Can I ask you a quick question? Because I'm a little bit not totally on track with you. Are you talking about open houses for agents that already have a listing in their own house? Is that what you're referring to?
No, not at all. That's a great question.
If you could clarify so I could focus on his story without my mind going, what is she talking about? What is she talking about?
You're free to
Thank you
ask.
for your indulgence.
You bet. No, this is leverage. Keller Williams is fantastic in the opportunities that we provide each other. So we know that listings are leverage, right? What if you don't have a listing? You open for another listing agent. They share their open houses all of the time for you to host an open house so that you can be there to service buyer leads and get some leads right out the gate. And so what he's saying is he did an open house and then therefore got leads from it.
Just find it by Monday or Tuesday.
And then I'll talk about the follow-up afterwards, because I'm going to basically provide you a path that leads to database, which is why we're here to some degree.
So you hand out your card if you're already licensed, otherwise you're just kind of a background helper or what?
I think what
Not understand.
I think you're thinking of a broker open, where it's just agents that come and tour the house, is that what you're kind of thinking of?
No, there's-
So if I'm going and I'm a brand new agent, I'm going to hold open in house on Sunday, right? Because I want to make sure that there's no one out there that doesn't have a buyer's agent that comes through the door. Because I want to be their buyer's agent if they don't. If they're not being represented, I want to make sure that I'm getting clients as fast as possible. And so if they do have a buyer's agent, well, next. Let's keep talking to people. Keep talking to people, right? It's the quickest way to see who is out there in the field looking for homes. Sometimes they're tire kickers, sometimes they're neighbors, and that happens. I still have those conversations because they may be interested in selling. They may be there to compare that house to their house down the street.
Or finding their own neighbor.
Exactly, and so that's always a conversation too, if you're trying to sell your own listing and that's your open house. The open house is a way to get leverage and leads fast, without having to pay for leads as an agent, as a new agent especially. I still do them every once in a while if I feel like, you know, I gotta get some more traffic on my listing or what have you. But point is, the follow-up, and this is about growing your business, and so the way to do that right out the gate, other than your sphere, would be, like he said, he's doing open houses. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Does that kind of answer your,
I think so.
thanks? Okay. So, the follow-up, did you feel a certain way when you called her the next day, or how long did it take for you to do that?
I called her, I actually had the open house on Saturday and I called her on Monday,
Okay.
but she had already contacted me Sunday afternoon.
Wow, that's a hungry buyer then.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't
she's-
all see that very often.
Yeah, she's ready. And she had already contacted me Sunday afternoon,
It's great,
so I was able to.
that's great. And for a lot of times, I think you guys notice that doesn't happen, okay?
Yeah, nice.
So, that's awesome, but it is a numbers game, so hey, if you do it enough, that's why we talk about consistency. So, back to this, building your business. Where are you guys starting if you don't have a sphere and you're not doing open houses? Is there anything that I'm missing?
Just talking to people.
Just out and about,
Right.
yeah? Have you started getting your database going as far as the edge? What are you using for your database?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you labeling these people? Are you categorizing? And if so, what does that look like?
Yeah, I use one called RealVolve.
That's what I use.
For CRM, it's great.
It is. It's
Yeah.
very intricate.
It took me a while to,
Yes.
I'm serious, like a month to
Yes.
really get the hang of it. I still don't have the hang of it yet, but
It's,
once you get it, yeah, but then you can classify it into like I do A, B, C, and D buyers.
Yeah. I haven't played with the workflow piece yet.
So there's a
It's intense.
workflow and a wizard
Yep.
video you can look at.
And technology in me, which you won't see me
Yeah.
play with this remote very often, guys.
Yeah.
Heads up. Yeah, not so much. But I do have an operations manager, and that can be her baby. I also like their inspirational sayings every
Yeah.
day. Those are awesome. Like, oh.
Will you continue to use that once we go over to Connect?
Yeah.
Command? Thank you.
We'll see if it integrates. It could potentially, and if they're smart, they will. I would think that they would syndicate. It seems to be
The
growing.
reason that I got it was because of just like online reviews and recommendations. So
Same.
certainly they would.
My real estate coach sent me that. But yeah, it's I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, being that I'm not a huge technology person, I am old school, and I just butted heads with the CRM, a database, if you will, forever. I did the basics, right? I'm just now getting to the point where I should have been in the first place. And when I jumped ship, from Adam, that sounds terrible, but when I glided away, I had to, right? You're now a business owner, you have to act like one. And so that took time. That was my version of hell. Sitting behind a database, and next thing I know, when I'm having a customer appreciation party and a launch party, if you will, you know, you might as well kill two birds with one stone. And so you're making those invites and scrubbing your data. Well, what I could tell you based on my failures is that do it up front. It's much easier. Much easier. Yes.
You're talking about the Edge?
Yeah, eEdge or whatever database you use. Just a database in general. Yes, it's much easier. It's just at the end of the day, if you've come across your contacts, do it as you go. Otherwise, you won't do it at all. It'll paralyze you. So the deal is someone else will if you don't.
So Melissa, you think that when command comes out, that all your data that's in the eEdge, you should be able to do some sort of copy paste or
I think so.
instant
Absolutely,
merge or
it should
something?
integrate. Yeah, and that's the great thing about this company is just they're gonna make this so user friendly. Ultimately, that's the goal. You can already see it heading that way. I think.
And if you're in labs, you can go ahead and start putting people into your database in command too. If you're not in labs, you can sign up to be in labs. You might be put on a wait list for just a little bit at a time, but then they'll add you to it and you can start playing with it. Not a tool that you can use as a functioning tool yet, but you can at least
Head
start
start.
inputting your database.
Yeah, it probably feels good just when that light switch turns on, right?
Yeah.
But building your business, guys, there's different ways to look at this, and you know that the information you have in front of you is going to be touching quite a bit on campaigns, 8x8s. We hear that all the time. Again, it's not my strength, that part, but I am getting there. However, I do have my ways of staying in front of my clients. Probably have about 85% are past clients, past client referrals. And NAR says ultimately that about every 10 years, these people will be moving. It used to be about 4 to 5, and so as the trend kind of carried on with the shift and everything that's been happening, we're noticing that these people are staying in their homes longer. So I'm on Facebook all the time. Oh yes, old girl has a second baby. Tell me there's a chance. So I'm looking to bring that average down. So anyways, little tools like that have been really impactful and insightful for me, and I just love people, to be quite honest, and so it does come somewhat natural for me just to make those calls, and it's, hey, drove by your house the other day, just thought about you guys, it becomes that easy, and it's just really about the consistency piece, I do have those touch campaigns I've done for myself, where I can drop a call, this quarter, and then 3 months from here, gonna send them a mail out. And then, this next quarter, I'm gonna give them a personal call. This next, couple months, we're gonna have a party and you're gonna get the invites and look for it in your social media. And so you can also have a social media touch in there too. It's all about your clientele and what works best for you and your personality. Some things are just not gonna make sense for everybody. So, having said that, is there anything that someone is doing in here? I saw earlier, who was at the top of the list? Was that Paul? Who was getting the appointments?
I think it was.
I've got 5 appointments.
Yeah, that's what I saw, and I was gonna ask you, what are you doing?
I've got Charles and Carolyn, so. And I've got a great admin, and all I do is go out, shake hands, kiss babies.
So you get to stay in your 20%, meaning that you're yielding the results that you're good at.
Right.
Leverage is huge, that's a different class. But, still, you have appointments, so you did something right.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite?
My favorite is being I hate being on the phone.
Okay,
More than anything.
okay,
But I have to do it, and I know I have to do it, and I have to force myself the first thing in the morning to be on the phone.
okay.
And calling leads, and checking up with people, and back to the open house, how do you get more people in? I mean, six couples is the biggest open house I've had.
Where did you host?
My best one has been in Battlefield, actually, my best ones.
Interesting.
But my worst one, in the upper scale neighborhood,
Okay.
400,000, 500,000.
Okay.
Nothing coming through.
I will say strategic matters, being strategic. I look at everything from a price point to a location.
Right.
I look at the trend of the market that week. Who's buying?
Well, I try to find people holding open houses around me too.
That's always great.
So I got more signs
Yes.
going around, like, let's check this one out.
I won't go down a rabbit hole too bad, but to your point, I love 150 to 250, sometimes
That's
300, depending on the location. I love that because why? Why do you think I like that? More buyers. Why do we get more buyers?
The average, there's less big dollar buyers than there are medium.
Do you think there's something to be said for the buyer pool? We have different kind of buyers
First time
too.
buyers too, and they don't have patience.
Yes, we've got first time buyers, we have potential investors, we have downsized buyers, right? So you hit all three corners.
Right.
And then you throw location in there. Obviously, we know the basics. Ignite teaches us, which you'll learn with Brandia, and she's awesome. The basics in terms of what to do to market them. However, there's something to be said for the strategy and who is gonna be my buyer. Is this open house gonna be the one that I wanna open? Really, really strategic with that. If I'm gonna spend Sunday away from my family and not be able to get out of my jammies, if I have to get out of my jammies, best believe, we're gonna be strategic about it. Okay, expectations. So I kind of went over that a little bit. In terms of building business, I want you guys to feel like this is an open forum and ask me questions along the way like you have so far. I love that. I think that those are probably the best classes as far as anybody learning, including myself. You guys typically are making the calls right out the gate, no? Okay, do you guys have your list of your contacts today that you intended on shouting at? Don't worry, I'll look away. I'll get on the phone with you, I have no problem with that. I remember when I did Ignite, that was probably a huge piece of the course, you guys. In that way, it will warm you up to bold when you go and do that later too. Because they always say, yes, that's Ignite on the pad. So you might as well take your temperature now and kind of set that groundwork now, you guys, because that's our number one job in this industry is lead generation, right? So make yourselves uncomfortable. Who has a call that just wants to rip the Band-Aid and make their call now? Not in front of everybody. But who has a call they're like not looking forward to? Is anybody? Yeah, I do. Okay. I'm gonna call BS on that. Get your list out, whoever you have for contacts, and dial. Because I would be doing you a disservice if we didn't do that piece of the.
So I'm lost because I left at halfway through the last class.
Okay, so
Because I
these
had
are gonna be asking for referrals. You want a buyer, call a Sphere. Whoever you have, if you had an open house and you have a follow-up, do a follow-up. If you think of someone that may entertain selling, just call them and just say, hey, I want to give you some information, some insight. You may not be ready yet. But there's some scripts in here too, you guys. If you pull those out, just pick one of those and just call a few people inside of 20 minutes. See, A, who you can get a hold of, and B, at least set an appointment to call them for the future.
So Melissa, can you do this if you, like, I just handed in my paperwork on the 26th, my license hasn't come yet.
You can absolutely do this. You just can't really talk about real estate.
That was fun during gold.
I mean specific about a specific property. Your conversation would say, hey, my real estate license, I'm now in real estate. You just can't, I'm now in real estate. I just want to make you aware, and I'm really excited, and it's been a big change for me, and I just wanted to get the word out. Yours is just as simple as that.
Can you say though, please call me if you're interested in buying or selling?
Why not? Just say, hey, I just wanted to start, I just want to set up some networking meetings and get in front of my, my peeps. And I thought of you, and I just want to touch base. So make it more relationship based than, hey, here's a property, right? That's the thing, or the rules behind it, really.
Okay.
Don't get real specific about properties or anything like that. Just, hey, this is my change I just made. I'm now in real estate. It's here at Keller Williams, and I just wanna let you know because, you know, word of mouth just.
I did do that in person yesterday.
Great, so do it again on the phone.
But I wasn't sure when I went over there. I'm like, what am I doing?
You guys just jump in, and what I always did is stand up, so then you're not sitting here. You don't have to. I just do. I pace. So if I had a hamster wheel, I'd probably be on it. But Lexi, it's Lexi's fault. She told me I needed to do this, so just kidding. No, it is important, because if you guys don't get in that repetition, it's not a habit. This is the hardest, you know.
I'm kicking myself because I actually made some of those calls this morning.
You know what? Get on your Facebook or your social media and think about, hey, who can I,
I got one I can call.
yeah, what's your name?
Sheila.
Sheila, I like you. Oh, Sheila. There's a song about you, you know that, right?
Yeah. and there's a country one,
Is there?
new country one too.
See, I wouldn't know about that.
Good.
I like it. See? That's why he's got 5 appointments, guys. Do it.
So,
Alright. Who do I got? I'll call with you. Don't worry. Who do I got?
awesome. Perfect. Okay, that's all I want to check on. Alright, thanks.
Hey, how are you?
Candy.
Hey Julia, this is Sheila, how are you?
Yeah, I actually.
Oh, I thought I would touch base with you. It sounds like you've had a crazy few months.
See what you're.
Oh my goodness, how are things going there? Are you getting, I need, go ahead. Awesome. What do they think the timeline is? Oh my goodness, I didn't realize that she had said that you were gonna be needed. For some reason, I completely forgot it was you guys. I slipped a few, you know, nights since then. And then
Business card, you know, I mean, I'll be like, I know, so I'm kind of, I'm maneuvering, I'm like,
so like in the next week, I have that, what's your schedule? Before I say this, but I want to see what date you got.
Text that number, this code, which is my specific code, and then it texts you back, and then it automatically downloads your app. So if you see, if I go.
So my,
If I go to the.
oh, you printed it, that was.
Yeah, I just printed it so I can check it off. So he knows if I'm on KW, it's like specifically for this, yes. So look at your code and text that number, that code, and it'll send you, and you download that app.
well, what about Tuesdays and Thursdays? My classes are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah.
So Tuesday and
So the number's the
Thursday.
same, click on that link. Is that where you text it to? No, so the number's the same, you text 8778, that's the phone number.
Okay,
And then you text that code to 8778.
discuss some of this stuff.
Okay, so 8778 is the text.
Exactly, yeah.
That's kind of what I was
Yeah.
really proud of.
Very fun.
And then,
And then it's the code that's right here. And exactly, that's your, that's my phone, so you gotta write, and you tell me how much money to send,
You know, sounds good. Does that work? Okay,
That's why I was
so
listening to
17th at 1 and location to be decided. All right, thanks Julia, bye.
Oh, no, you're off. We lost him.
Yep, and then they'll send you that, and just click the link, and then it'll download on the phone, so then you can share it, if it's yours specifically. So it has like, if you see, like up here, see how it has my name, and then it has call, email, text.
I click on it.
Yeah. Click it and then you download it.
Alright, well, how you doing? Yeah?
Alright,
Oh, no.
Have you guys spoken to the vendor?
Is your truck or the company's truck?
Hey, this is William. There you go. Now yours is up.
Still sounds like you are.
Good. Yeah, we have to set up the app, so that way she can send.
And don't be like me,
Oh.
Okay.
I didn't realize right away
Right.
that our clients don't set up accounts, you don't get the information.
Right, right, that's what I learned too.
Okay, so you send it to them from.
So you push these lines at the top and you have share app.
Oh, 'cause-
Yeah, share yours specifically.
no,
Like fit in it.
no, not the truck, the lot.
Options, all the options that you'll use.
Okay, so in order to text it to someone, you have to put their phone number, well, you don't have to put it in your phone as a contact.
No, you can just type it. Yep, you can just type the number.
Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing, just to like, so people can start looking, because I have several people that are wanting to buy but not till later, so then they can browse basically.
Page, and it's easier.
Right, yeah.
Right.
My name is Sheila Johnson, this is from Law South.
Right.
I'm a real estate agent, and she said she wasn't sure exactly what they wanted, but it was a real estate related question. Sally Welch, she's from Michelle, and she said you would love her messages.
We'll talk to you later.
I think you were the one that loved her message. There was somebody about a delivery.
You know that?
Or the Denver.
Go ahead.
Hey, this is Donna Heenan. I'm your neighbor around the corner on Woonsong.
Right, right, to say that.
How are you?
Good. I just wanted to let you know that I am now with Keller Williams Realty in Springfield. And I just wanted to let my neighbors know.
Well, I don't know anything
Telling
about
you how to buy the
actually
property
she's
right
from
now.
Purposeville, and so she wasn't sure how you'd actually even gotten her number. Is that?
You're settled in.
Is it Purposeville area?
Okay, well, if you don't mind, I just send you my app, and if you have any real estate questions or anything, my information is on there. Okay? Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, my sister-in-law lives down there on the water. How was that?
That's good. No, it was easy.
About tiny houses.
You can start it out, so she'll let you personalize and then send them into it.
Got my number or anything, you just have.
That's not me at all. I don't want to say something like that.
Right.
Say you were in a working with the buyer's agent then. Fundraising. Okay, yeah. Well, I was just kind of returning with the
This is like, I'm just
It's so foreign, that's kind of how I feel. It's
With the
like,
rest of
I'm
them going.
being informed, and I feel like
I don't even know.
It's just like, like your sister-in-law, so let's sit here and let's call us back and see if this is legit or if it's something, you know. I will tell you,
right,
so this
right, and then each two, well, I'm doing this.
There's not tiny lines there, but there is a lot.
And so I think now it's now it's got a settlement of like, call people. Okay, so now I actually knew something, so now let me just process that and regurgitate, get my feet now.
Okay, you got me.
Can't say this, you know, it takes a minute, I was
I wonder if someone did.
Right?
You're like, I don't understand. Thank you so much. I just want to do something.
Now it's one.
So let me know what I'm doing.
Okay, that would.
I'm coming to that.
You know, when you
No,
Did it take you a few days to get?
no, I was just, last year, and I stepped over here, so I was in the Midwest, and
Bless your heart.
well,
Well, I suffer quite a lot. Hallelujah.
She was just left out, she's got, tights on, and little tiny riders.
Nadie se manifiesta para informar, más podemos ayudarte. Okay. Lo mismo, chao.
Good. I had a crazy call.
What'd
My
you have?
My sister-in-law texted me and told me, she goes, I had this guy that called and was asking about tiny houses. And she's like, I have no idea why he called me.
Those things?
Anyway,
Oh,
long
yeah.
story short, the guy I called him, the guy's actually working with the buyer's agent, but he'd seen a sign and he got the number, he messed the number up and accidentally called my sister-in-law's number instead of the number of the sign. He got a digit wrong. And so,
Crazy.
so anyway, because I'm like, I don't know where to say it, and he told me the name, I didn't recognize the name.
He's
It was
looking for
somebody
tiny
from-
houses?
He's looking for tiny houses by Kirbyville. But my sister-in-law's like, who's this Penny? She's like, it's a, you could call us. And she's like, I don't know.
Funny is that I got this thing. It's funny, if you go out in public, I swear I hear people talking about real estate all the time. I'm like, you know, it just happens, whether it be like remodeling or
Oh,
whatever.
I know.
It's like, if you look for it,
It's there.
it's kind of like slug bugs. Like when you play the slug bug game when you're young, you know, maybe you still do, I don't know, I do. And then you see them everywhere, right?
Yeah, but I did set one appointment.
Good for you. See, that's why we do it. We
So
just
what
keep
would you
pushing through.
suggest? I had a real good buy-sell lead from a open house last Sunday, but they said that their next 2 weeks were insanely crazy. Give them a call back in 2 weeks. Would you call them like a week?
I still would at least do an email touch.
I did an email. I also sent them the proper newspaper looking for, so I texted them Facebook and twice. I haven't heard anything from them, but I sent you an email and they requested. So I was thinking I'd call them like, you know,
I would just be like, and just be like, I'm so sorry. I just need to make sure that the ball's not in my court and that you got my email because I don't want you to get said something or something and you know, you didn't call it.
This is a buy-sell lead. Actually has a potential buyer that I'm looking for a house before August. That actually this person's house is perfectly.
See, I have one of those too and they keep ghosting me. So I friend them on Facebook and so what I can do is he's like, we're not ignoring you, we're processing. And so I'm about ready to jump in myself and say something and figure out. One time I accidentally called someone or messaged them. I said something accidentally. Like I've been known to throw stuff in at someone and it'd be like, oh my gosh, I got the wrong person. And then they feel like that pressure's off of them a little bit. And then they almost feel inclined to text back and be like, you have the wrong person. So I know when they ghost you, sometimes you have to just call it out. You have to be like, is your text delivered? Is it still this person? Because the way I look at it is, you're not going to get it, you're not going to get it. You know?
Okay, another question. So I have a guy that I worked with off and on a few years ago. I worked along with him. Anyway, and he said he wanted to buy some land and it was either in Douglas or mind you, I was going on vacation and I was at the airport. It was a TSA guy. I didn't remember, I was trying to figure out the best way to, because he said he wanted to be ready for 6 months, it's been 3 months, so I have it in my calendar, it popped up, this is calling about Dallas County land, but I swear it's Douglas.
Just let him talk. Let him talk over this. Just say, we talked about some land, wasn't that right? And just be like, that for me, and just get him talking. Be like, where do you stand with that? Where are you with that? Like, is there specific areas in that county that pertains to you? Lead them down.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh,
Yep.
how it started back over.
Right, so go ahead and send a message that you already typed.
How'd you guys do?
Hit that and then it'll send a second message.
Yay! What are you saying, sir?
Okay, so.
Well, it's just actually people I've been working now for
go ahead and send what you talked.
So it's starting to come to
It's starting to
fruition.
come around,
That's
yeah.
awesome. That's a great feeling. That's actually why I love the follow-up. The follow-up is my favorite.
So send that.
Because, especially when they respond. It is the worst when they ghost you, I know, you have to get creative
The ones I
sometimes.
get them to respond to the most is I'll send an email out to like a bulk email out, and I will ask, hey, I just wanna make sure you got those listings I sent you. I didn't send you the listings,
And can you?
I just send that email out, then they'll come back to me and
Like
find
say,
out.
if you want to.
I enjoyed talking to you or
I'll
whatever.
update that search for you, and I'll set them up a new search.
So that's great. So same thing. It's, you know, if they're ghosting you in your email,
I mean,
just
can I
text
type
them.
I would send it first.
Hit them a couple of angles on communications.
Okay.
That's great. I like it. Yeah. It takes that pressure off of, hey, no one's
Make
saying
sure
you
I
have to do
put it on.
anything now. I'm just wanting to communicate with you so that we can have you ready by the time you are. Because it is a mood swing, guys. It's people, whatever their circumstances were, could change in a matter of weeks. So we don't want to necessarily take them at face value for, you know, call me in 2 weeks. Because then it's probably already late
Right.
by then. Someone else has already got to them too.
I enjoyed
Potentially.
talking to you. Thank you.
If they say
That
they're
just
within 4 months
inputs
out.
automatically.
They're like now.
She's gonna click
Well,
on that
then
right
we
box
can
and
start
it'll
doing this.
automatically.
You notice we're pretty
Then
quick
we're
to
already,
do it
then
for
we
4
should have been on the ground yesterday. Right. Okay, you guys kind of wrapping up?
Almost done.
I'll let you guys finish. Yeah.
I was just so excited to get to do something. We were talking, this gentleman went through the entire first class and didn't get to talk to anybody, and I'm like, well, I haven't suffered quite as much as that. I've just gone 3 days, but I want to do something.
I know. I always say I feel like that movie Footloose, like Sarah Jessica Parker sitting on the side. She can't dance because her boyfriend can't dance.
Thank you for empathizing.
I get it. Put me in. Put me in. Put me in.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what other kind of touches could we do other than email, text, phone calls? What other kind of touches could we do with any of these people that maybe we've made contact with? Anything?
How about giving a card at events? I do a lot of just events out in the community, everything I can do that I think I would enjoy doing.
Okay.
And just because I know, I think about even, well, just like a group that I belong to, they have a lot of events. And I always visit, I'm warm and outgoing, but I've never had the opportunity until now to say, guess what, here's, my card, I'm actually, because I know they would be over the moon for me,
Right.
and I already have a long-standing relationship, and I'm sure
This
all of us
is your
have some.
sphere.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is one of my spheres, and so I think that would be like
Mm-hmm.
a way that is very time efficient, because you're
Absolutely.
already going there.
The best contacts, when I did like the Bold 100, which is where you're supposed to get 100 contacts in one day.
I fizzled at 80 something.
Girl, that's still admirable, honestly. I know it's like, you get so close. I made an event around an amazing listing that I had on Pickwick, and literally there probably ended up being 150 people. Obviously, I didn't talk to all, 150 people. But what I was lacking, I just did for follow-up and asked for referrals. So, in prospecting around the neighborhood, around the open. But there's ways that you can leverage pieces to do a lot smarter, not harder. In the beginning, they always say, to her point, your sphere, who's that one person that would be kind of just a doer for you? Who would be your own mini lead generator out in the field? Think about it that way. Who would be that person that would support you like that and has in the past? Not necessarily in business, but just think about what they've done for you in the past and who's your support system. Because, for me, it was one person that she had an intense, insane sphere where we didn't overlap our spheres at all. So it wasn't like double dipping. And she was kind enough when I was first in just to sit down with me and said, all right, let's just go through my phone. And so we went through her phone and she gave me the cast of characters. I was like, yep, I want that one. Yep, I want that one. And I'm like, now in the meantime, if you tell me I'm wasting my time on any of these people, just let me know because I don't know these people. And her name was Kim. And so she just was like, all right. and I said, do you have any problem with shooting these people a text or calling and let them know, hey, you know, my good friend is in real estate and I just want to have her reach out to you to introduce herself, kind of thing. And I really believe in her and I know she's going to be amazing. And so think about who might be that one person, it doesn't have to be more than that, that has those contacts, you know? And that will matter, and they'll want to help you like that. So, you know, sometimes it's someone in the community you respect, and whether or not you've worked with them in a charity, or if you've maybe ran into them in business before, or you have common family friends or something of that nature, and you start your networking with them and just say, listen, I want to pick your brain about what you've done to get to where you've been, because I'm now running my own business, and I would love just 30, you know, minutes of your time, whatever, just to pick your brain on some things that, you know, led you to where you're at now. You know, I really respect you in the community. And so sometimes it just starts out like that as a relationship. You know, people love that. And if you come from a place of curiosity, it's not, hey, I'm not trying to sell you a house, by the way, it's, I just want to get to know you. And so that, yes, those are the things that take a little longer for nurture, but it is building your business day in and day out and being purposeful about it. Because guys, when you start getting busy in this business, it is really, really hard to keep those motions up. You forget about it. Because everybody naturally wants to chase the dollar, you know? Some of us are more competitive than others and just want to put a deal on the board. So whatever your purpose is, just remember how you got the deal in the first place. What did you guys kind of hear on your calls? Was there any questions or objections or any, I know it's uncomfortable as it's intended to be, because we don't get anything out of it if it's really comfortable, I don't feel like.
So I hear a lot about it. I will be looking, but I'm gonna wait until summer. So what do you do? I mean, I do put it in my computer and I start sending them houses once in a while. But what else can I say? Well, don't wait too long, you know.
Say, okay, what has you looking, what's important to you about that timeline? Find out why, because we can't address any objections or solve any problems without knowing that, right? What has you looking in the summer? Well, my kids are out of school. I don't want to move them out of school districts. Oh, great. Sure, I respect that. So you might move school districts. Is that really what has you stopped in your tracks, so to speak, right now? And that's why. And if that's actually why, you'll know. Because if you solve that problem and they're still reluctant, it's not really. Great. So what if I told you that escrow, meaning under contract from start to finish, writing an offer usually takes 45 to 60 days. So basically knowing that, and we're getting ready to get close to February, we really need to start the process now. Would it be okay if we sit down and go over your wants and needs so that you'll have a head start whenever this inventory starts coming up for more? You're going to have more competition with other buyers and we'll have a head start. Sound good?
I had almost identical situation, and the couple didn't want to buy to the spring. We were under contract because I sent them and I asked them, you know, their goals and everything, and you know, sent them properties, and they were seeing there was just nothing. So when the house came up that they really liked,
just ignore them, guys. Always throw something at them if you think they're gonna like them. We're not buying. We're not doing this. Great. I just wanted you to see this. Look at this.
Yeah.
I always ignore them. You know, in Bold, when you go to Bold, and maybe you've seen this, where it's the whole, what is it, like the frog that's deaf or whatever.
the drunk monkey.
It's the same concept. The frog that's deaf, they fell in the well or whatever, and the other frogs they're listening to, they can't jump that high, right? Well, the frog that's deaf did. So why not be that? You know, it's a mindset. I have started trying some different coaching for the mindset now because I hit a ceiling for the accountability coaching, being in MAPS for 6 years, which I firmly believe in, but day one of that type of coaching has been day and night. So you have to do what you have to do for your mindset to push through these objections and just come from a logical place, not emotional.
So you're doing accountability coaching?
I'm not. I was being coached just like MAPS does. Sorry, I won't get off on this tangent for very long.
Sorry.
No, I'm apologizing to Lexi. I don't get in trouble. I'm just kidding. So no, it was accountability coaching. MAPS was more that structured that way. So it's, hey, what are your numbers? What are you doing? How many contacts? What do you have problems with, right? And I do believe in that, I do. But I just found that I need to change something to kind of remove a ceiling that I had, blocked as far as mindset goes. And so, yeah, no, it's just getting back to the mindset piece of kind of what she was saying. Just what someone says, look at their actions. Don't necessarily listen too much in terms of that, but look at their actions especially. Because you're helping them see something they don't necessarily see. That's why we're here. Any questions so far? We're gonna breeze through this. I think the biggest thing is the campaigns and everything, to make sure that when you're setting your campaigns up and you're doing your calls, that these people are in your database, you have your notes ready to go, so that when you're doing your follow-ups, they know you were paying attention to your conversation and know what your campaign is saying to them as well when you guys do get in tune with that. That's a huge portion of this, so I just wanted to at least touch on it.
Does eEdge have sort of like default boxes for like notes, time you call? I haven't jumped into that.
Yeah, so you'll have more they've been building it too and making it, just tweaking it, seems like off and on for a bit. So ever since I started out on it, seems like, yeah. Yep.
Room to make little comments.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have all sorts of options that way.
And you can usually schedule it like,
A reoccurring?
call him, that this guy was having a baby, and you remind me that he was having a baby, his wife was having a baby, and so I sent him a card. So it's really,
I'm telling you, everybody's having babies right now. I'm like, yes.
That's great.
So, you are? When are you due?
July 12th.
Oh,
congratulations.
congrats. Well, you didn't fall into this February rule or January though. I'm just like, dang, I have 3 baby gifts I have to go buy right out the gate out of here. I even have one that's been in the back of my trunk, right, Candy? 8 months. No, baby gift. No, I'm not mom of the year, but I'm not that either. No, it was a baby gift, so one of my clients at closing, they just had one, and because they started walking in, I was holding the door for them and had the gift in the closing room, right? And I saw them come in, and I'm like, it's a boy. It's a girl gift. And I just ran in, opened the door, ran in the closing room. Luckily, they were still like messing around, carrying stuff. And like grab the gift. It's one of those jelly bean ones that like have it very obvious that it's pink, like pink bow up top. I'm like shove it under the table. I kicked it under, and so it's in my trunk still. So I'm gonna re-gift that. It's smashed, so we'll have to get a fluffy bow or something. Story of my life, guys. So building your business, I know that this is huge piece because, especially as a new agent, you're paralyzed on the who a little bit. And I can speak for myself that probably my sphere was the hardest to call. What about you guys?
Really? Mine's complete opposite, to be honest.
And some people are like
very
that.
comfortable with
I would
it.
rather talk to a stranger.
Really?
Yes.
Complete opposite for me.
Mine was depending on who it was in my sphere. 'Cause
Sure.
I have a phone book of like 400 people. Well, now it's like 200 because my husband wiped my phone book out.
Wow.
But my people I'm close with, I don't have issues. I actually have gotten 2 referrals in the last 24 hours
That's
that I've got
awesome.
appointments set for.
That's
One's a
awesome.
listing, one's a buy.
See, they want to help you.
And so that is easy, but the people that I'm not quite as close with that are,
That's what I'm
contacts,
referring to.
that is,
That's,
kills me.
I would rather die. So I'm
When
playing
you talk to
traffic.
you for like 2 or 3 years, you're like, Yeah. But guess what, guys? Like, if they're just a certain way to you, it's like next.
Exactly.
You have to it takes time. I get it. It's not my favorite to call either. My favorites are obviously my peeps, people that I've really built relationships with. But when I say sphere, I'm talking about that's really just more the extended sphere. It is painful, can be painful. Hey, and it can be as simple, ease into it. I just wanted to make mention, you may have somebody, but I needed to, let you know, because I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't make you familiar with the fact that this is what I'm doing now. And I know it's been a while, and I really would appreciate the chance to catch up if you feel like it's someone that's going to make sense to do that. I was surprised, I will say, when I forced myself to make those calls a few times. Some people were really receptive to it, and it was just, hey, shame on me for not keeping in touch, but the really great news is with this company I'm with and the role I took on, I'm my own boss, and I get to do what I love doing, which is just being social, and networking seems to be kind of the foundation piece of this career. And so I get to actually just go out and connect with people that I haven't got to in quite a while. So it can be that easy, and it is sometimes hard pill to swallow. I get that. So, but
I have a quick tech question.
Yeah.
Does
might have the wrong person.
anybody in the room, does eEdge, will it import your Gmail contacts automatically?
No,
No, you have to.
I mean, not on its own. I mean, on its own.
I mean, you have to.
Do like a CSV file, probably, just like anything else.
Yeah, you lost me at CSV.
Yeah, I only know that because of my nightmare. Yeah, she would. She works for Evan. He's like technology, everything. And she's like, no.
Is that a Chris question?
Challenge.
Chris, more
Chris.
challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a question for him?
Yeah, for sure. That's why you got you, right? What do you do for him?
But you can just
Everything, whatever. That's kind of how it goes, right? Are you guys doing note cards, thank you notes, the old school methods that people love? Great. So we know that they've really been talking about the KW app, so are you kind of in a good position that way? You've got your profile set up, your bio, all that? Okay. Your profiles, I know I hired someone to do that when I first got here, because I was like, I'm gonna vomit. I was gonna throw my computer. I was like, I don't know. Are you using these trackers that Ignite kind of provides, or what have you found that are the best tools right now in terms of getting you all set up database-wise, eEdge, or what are you guys kind of deferring to?
I've just been filling out the pipeline.
You using that?
Pipeline tool, yeah, I've just been,
I like the CGI pipeline
Yeah.
tool a lot, and that kind of just categorizes the rating of how serious these people are, and just gives a note. I'm using it right now until I get my database all figured out in terms of all the tools that it offers to correspond with my team in terms of this person's an A buyer, they're rated an 8, here's why. This person's a 4, this is why. He's waiting on pre-approval, things like that. You guys kind of messed around with those at all? I think it's KW Connect that they have those through, CGI. Yeah. What about John Davis?
Yeah,
It's nuts.
didn't elaborate too much.
I know a little bit. Yeah, that was just.
The CGI is under technology.
Yeah, so the KW. So building your business, who in here is creative or considers themselves creative? What's your backgrounds? Like kind of what did you do? Marketing, okay.
Theater.
Oh yeah. So you're good with people, huh? Was it someone else?
Interior design.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm kind of vague boxes that they tell us to go to. So, I'm on 19, page 19, and it goes through your goals of daily lead generation with the database. And so this still comes down to any contacts that you make sure that you're logging those contacts there in the database and categorize, hey, where did I meet them? sometimes you wanna look back at that and say, where did I have the most success, right? So for me, even restaurants, like seeing the same cycle of servers. We all get attached to, you know, certain servers and they get to know us, right? It's like leaving my pins around. I leave them all around town. Like little things, right? Because sometimes it's out of mind and then it comes just a little bit more subliminal. People see you more often, and they're really good pins too, so I'm finding the restaurants are holding on to them. They're expensive, but hey, they've already, you know, paid for themselves, so that's awesome. But little things like that. So if you're a creative and you're kind of like, gosh, you know, I really love this, and I really love to be out in front of people, and how can I utilize that time best? You already know you're going to lunch, right? I mean, where are you going? Is it going to be worth your time? Think about your demographic, things of that nature. So make sure that when you're in a position of already networking on the brain, how can you maximize that opportunity? So that's one of the baby gifts that I have to go get after this, because that girl is going to be gone. She's a server I love for like 6 months. So, I mean, stuff happens. Relationships really build when people see you a lot. I mean, it's a value. It's a big deal. I know. Little things. It sounds really cheesy, but they're pretty freaking awesome, you guys.
I gotta see.
When that thing keeps stopping over and over.
Yeah. I know. So, whatever. I just thought, what's important to me? I know I like good pins, right? The kinds that like smear all over your arms, not so much. Let's just get in a little bit of kind of Q&A while we kind of finalize the class, because I want you guys to make the best of your use of your time. What are you guys finding in building your business now? Are we having a little bit of momentum going, or are we just kind of stopped in our tracks? If so, why? Anybody?
I noticed last week when it got real warm, my phone started ringing.
Isn't that interesting? Yep,
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah.
Mood swings. And so it puts us in a good mood if we feel that way. Don't you think it's probably spread? That actually motivates me a lot. It makes me go door knocking.
Right.
Yeah.
I was door knocking, and it was so windy and cold. But they were like, oh, come on in.
I don't, that's actually, it is good. They feel sorry for you.
Works in the rain too.
They do. I don't mind it, especially it's gonna work it around if it's raining on like a bad hair day.
Yeah.
So you just have to know, hey, am I door knocking today? That's where your calendar
I'm
comes in,
like,
right?
and they asked me, why are you doing it today? I'm like, next time you do it more.
Well, I like her approach because I always ask myself, what will someone else not do? Okay, I did that pregnant, and that's where it worked best. And it was hot out. And I went into neighborhoods that said no soliciting. Like, yeah, you are today. I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. How dare you hit this pregnant girl? Huh? I'm not selling anything. You're right. But some people take that and they just like run.
I door knocked the neighborhood for my open house, and almost every single house in that neighborhood had the same nest bell, had the same sign that said.
Oh my God, it's so awkward. That scares the crap out of anyone.
It's the same sign that said, we already know Jesus, we already, unless you have thin mints, go away. And so finally, someone answered. I'm like, gosh, I said, I don't have thin mints. I'm gonna have cookies at the open house tomorrow. Come get
Yeah, it's way better than that anyways. Yeah, Southern Hills, right? I see all sorts in there. I got Holly Stinger once. I'm like, oh, it's good, it's fine. I wanted to meet you anyway one day. We never had a closing together, so there's that.
I grew up in Cinnamon Square a couple years ago, and I ran into this lady who just became president up there, and she was up on her high horse. And usually, like, I'm a pretty nice person, but if you're mean to me, I have no problems being mean back.
They're the worst over there, right, Candy? They're the worst over there. Candy knows she used to live over there.
Where is that?
Cinnamon Square.
Places, but she was like, you know.
Well, I mean for the HOA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, there's no soliciting here. And I'm like, that's fascinating. because I know these CCNRs are nowhere in there.
Interesting.
Funny, so I'm gonna keep
Oh.
going.
I'm gonna go ahead and revise that. I'll send you a copy.
Make their own rules.
Yeah. So what questions do you guys have for me? How's that? Because I know you're trying to get on.
So you've just really changed your business over from working with Adam to
Oh, yeah.
having your own team.
I got a P&L now, I'm a big girl.
Do you look at your P&L every month?
No,
Okay.
not every month, like.
So you're about 9 months,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So I would imagine that when you left, you had a big drive and a big push to make sure you were successful. And actually, right about now, with it being the beginning of the year and having been on your own for 9 months, you're either looking or you're on top of something
Mhm.
to really do that drive again.
Yes.
So that's my questions. One, what was the thing that you did when you left to really push? And what are you seeing here in this year is what is really pushing right now?
I best believe I made my calls. Hey, I'm so excited. You know, I had the best opportunity with Adam, and I learned so much. And now it's time for me to go ahead and grow something that I'm ready for after 6 years. And I just really enjoy doing business with you. And if you feel committed to Adam, that's awesome. But if I feel like I owe it to my clients and people that helped me get here to allow for you to know what I'm doing. And I'm still at Keller Williams, still love the company, but I just wanted to let you know first. And the first rule in this business is that I need to carry inventory. So the first way that I would get out of this business is if I don't have any. You know that I need to know to sell.
Right.
I can't open a store without inventory.
So called past clients looking for listings.
Yes, they did, and at the same time, I was then letting them know, that.
Because you were a buyer's agent, so now you're really.
Well, what you
communicating
also need to
with
understand is I
listings.
also took listings,
Okay.
so I still was familiar that way, but it was also a message to your point of, hey, I want you to know I also always did listings, just because my title was buyer specialist. I also was kind of a hybrid in the fact that, I enjoy taking listings and I do get them sold. So I wanna let you know that that's my message, and, I had a great response to that, and some people I was really just very, very surprised that they even came with me, to be quite honest, and that's just interesting because it does tend to be that way when you're in that buy side, because you're out in the field with them and you have the face-to-face, you have the interaction, and it is something that's organic for me is the relationship piece. So that just became natural. That kind of answer.
So then the
I
second
got
part
enough
of
listings.
the question now, so you had we all experienced a little slowdown with the holidays, we
Yes.
all have our own energy and stuff like that coming back. Is that your focus again? Is just
Always,
hitting phone?
yes, absolutely, and we all are in that boat, and it was very much of, gosh, I sold my listings, which are great, but
Right.
now I'm, frantic, and it takes a minute to ramp up, and it's getting there again, but I have more buyers right now than listings, but it's still scary when you don't have the listings, because we know what comes with the listings, which are sign calls and buyers, which that's what brought me through, the remainder of the year to land where I landed, even though I basically had to start up a business come May.
Right.
It was scary, for sure.
So, I'm kind of in an opposite situation. I kind of want to pick your brain. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Pick away, go.
So previously I was focusing on listings when I was on a team, and so on my own, 75% of my business is listings.
Wow.
And I really struggle with buyers, and I don't know what I'm doing differently to lose buyers compared to listings. And so I'm curious, with you doing both longer than me, what have you found to make the buy side more successful than the list side? What are you doing?
Buyers need way more attention. And you want to get face-to-face opportunity with them as much as possible. Even if they say they're not ready, it's part of the reason they try to get you to get a consult up front, out the gate, because if they go through the process and they feel more professional in your hands, with that process, even if they say we're not ready, great, I totally respect that. I just want to be ready when you are ready. And then if the perfect house popped up, what does it look like? And I want to know. And if it did pop up and I knew, would you be inclined to at least look at it? Okay, then we definitely need to meet. And they're just way more emotional And so it is an adjustment when you have that mentality of listing, and I did finally kind of grow into the listing piece more so I found than the buyer piece because of time. And it just became that way for me because you only have so many hours in the day, and buyers, you do 3 times the amount of work. But it is the fastest way to a closing. So it's kind of like interchanging that way. And so what you have to do is remember the personalities that align with each. It's really interesting when you have a seller and you sell their house and then they end up being a buyer. They are 2 different people, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you just have to remember to adapt to their mindset a little bit more and be more emotional with them. And it is hard. It is hard sometimes. It's exhausting. Yeah. Is that kind of,
Yeah.
it's just different. It's just different. And buyers in general, I will say, buyers in general are just harder right now. They just are. It's because they're not as motivated. There's not any inventory. There's no bait. And so I use the, hey, for my buyers that give me their time to get to know them and allow for me to help them or at least talk to them and see if we're a fit, then I offer my services of potentially finding you something that's not on the market. And so I sell hidden inventory all the time. Are you interested in what I have to offer? And if you're not, then great. Keep looking at these listings online with someone else. You know, just basic listings, awesome. Well, I may have something that you can't see. They love that. And it's like, am I going to offer it to this buyer that already committed with me and came in for the consult? Or am I going to go over here and have a little chat on one showing with this buyer that just says, well, just send it to me. Come on, you know? Yeah. I had someone, was it back here?
Oh, me.
I missed you, I'm sorry.
So fresh out of the gate, I was on a team. ISA, I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that. Where?
At Mark's team.
Okay.
So fresh out of the gate, finding listings. Can you speak to that?
Sure. So being that 80% is my bread and butter, just, you know, they've probably given you a GPS. Probably you talk about that in PC. The GPS is your 135. Your one thing, so your one goal, your 3 priorities to get to that goal, and then there's 5 strategies underneath each of those priorities, right? So one of my big ones is past client referrals. And so the strategies, to your point, for listings are, all right, how am I going to get, let's say my goal's 90 for this year. How am I going to get the bulk of it in that? And they pretty much say if you do one of those priorities, then you should hit your goal. And that's all the more reason you have to be very, very technical and really, really intricate about each strategy underneath that one priority, because you have to have an action plan under each priority for that to be true and actually follow it, of course. So for instance, part of my goal was I was going to focus on investors because of my timeline, and I know that I can get more transactions with my investors. So I was going to go and find some more hidden inventory for them, and they seem to love it. You know, they're the same type of people that have the pissing contests at the courthouse steps for something that someone else wants, right? So why wouldn't it be true that that's the same thing for something that no one else knows about? So that would be one strategy for me. So I'm following that, and I'm calling these, you know, purposeful, you know, today was my sphere. Here, today I'm offering comps to some of the areas I've noticed a big value taken in, and I wanted to check in on you, and no commitment, nothing like that. I just want you to be enlightened and understand where you stand. And so that was today for me. And so tomorrow I have the comps. I have to sit down and go and do them and send them off, and that's in my calendar, for instance. So it's having a plan, you guys, a theme. What are you saying that day? When you're new, you already know what you're saying. Hey, this is what I'm doing now, and you're asking for referrals, right? And it's just the consistency of it. And so for me, what I noticed when I was scattered and I would call just anybody to call anybody, my message was different. So I lost my momentum, so nothing would really happen for appointments. This is an all in or all out kind of thing. You don't just make 2 calls, nothing will happen, right? So listings, it was past client referrals, and right now I'm noticing people that are growing out of their house. Like I said earlier, I'm noticing people on social media, my clients, and it's as simple as watching their life events and knowing and staying up with that. I make notes of those kind of things for myself. Like, Ashley just asked me, what would the value bring in her 4th bedroom, to bring a 4th bedroom, because she's having baby number 3 in a 3-bedroom house, right? It's knowing who's gonna be my A buyers. I made a hit list, I call it, you know, for the people that I think are gonna pop this year. These are my bread and butter buyers where I wanted to shoot myself on some of their deals in the first round of being in real estate, because these were like your $90,000 to $100,000 buyers, and it wasn't about them. It was about the process. It was the house they were buying. They're just harder. They just are. It wasn't about the buyer, but they're now moving up. So I'm going after the low-hanging fruit, essentially, and getting those people fast. Yeah, and I have a girl in my office, Chelsea Normal. You guys, some of you may know her. She found that she's on my team now. She's awesome. Her big deal is the expireds and cancels and FSBOs, which I'm like, more power to you. I do for sale by owners every once in a while. If I'm a cherry picker though, so if I really believe in an area or something like that, I'll go after it, put my teeth in. Otherwise, I'm just like, have at it. So that's hers. That's her one thing. So you just ask yourself, hey, what do I want to get good at? You don't have to be good at it. Just what do you want to get good at?